Hello everyone and welcome to a little bit of a different video. I kind of announced this on my Discord already a little bit, but I recently actually returned to tournament chess, which I haven't played in actually quite a long time. And yeah, since I figured I haven't been uploading too much recently, I just quickly wanted to share a little analysis. It was I think kind of a fun game, and yeah, to give a little bit of a backstory here, this is a team match tournament game. I'm playing as black, and I believe my opponent was rated around 2100 FIDE. I'm currently slightly below that. Just due to inactivity. And yeah, I think time control was 1 hour 40 minutes with increment for the first 40 moves. So you arrive at 2 hours, and yeah, let's just get into it. So my opponent was of course a true chat. We opened with e4. If you watch a little bit of my videos, you know that I play the carry usually, and after d4, d5. He went for knight f3, and in these positions, since I kind of want to avoid theory as much as possible, I usually defer early here, and I play g6 here. I believe this is, I mean, the computer doesn't really like this, but I think this is very playable at my level, just simply due to the fact that you get this long diagonal with the bishop, and the knight's already standing on f3 and not here, so c3 is going to be a little bit delayed. But okay, so he played bishop f4, I go for the fianchetto, takes, and knight f3 here. So here, I kind of get a little bit greedy already, just trying to develop my bishop. I think, like, it's probably better to just develop here first, but I don't know. I'm always of the opinion that my opponent has to show me why things aren't good, and but he kind of did. He went for knight b5 immediately, which usually is not really too scary for black, because you can just play knight a6, which is also what I did here, by the way, to just cover this. But the point is, and we see this a couple of moves later, that after a3 takes, queen takes knight f6, he just plays c3, and now he has actually a really nice structure here, where my bishop is a little bit dead, and also my knight has no squares here. So I thought usually in this kind of positions, the knight on b5 is a little bit stranded, but it actually turns out my knight is a little bit worse here. But okay, I mean, this is a better position for white, no question. But we finished development here, and yeah, I'm actually not too unhappy with this opening result. I mean, white has a bishop pair, slightly better structure, but I mean, there's still some game to be played here. And I have a pretty simple idea, which you see here. After knight h5, bishop moves back to go for this break on e5, while the king is still in the center. So in this position, my opponent castled, and I went for e5, obviously, and you have to, of course, be careful that you don't run into this. So you have to do something about this. You can either like move the bishop back, or you can take. In this case, my opponent took on e5. I took back, and after bishop takes, rook takes. This is actually kind of close to an equal position already. Giving up the bishop pair here. Now that the black dark squared bishop is gone, I also maybe have sometimes some knight f5 ideas here, and I think like this is like where I would have survived the opening. But after rook e1, which is a very natural move, we come to what can be classified as an absolute brain rot moment for my side, because in this position, it's very clear that black only has two options. You can either take and give up the e file, or you can contest the e file with queen e7. But what I did here is, and this has never happened to me before. I've heard other people talk about this. Is forgetting a move, and so my idea was, after queen here, king f1, that I can go rook here and kind of get the e file that way, because I have three heavy pieces. But what I did instead, and so the idea is, let's say after queen here, king f1, king here, for example. I don't know, white probably takes. But even if it doesn't take, like the idea is, or you can like move away. The idea is to just get the knight into the game, because now this is not an issue anymore. Like these squares aren't weak anymore. But what actually happened in the game is that after after rook f1, because I was already thinking like, okay, you're gonna go rook e8 next. After he goes king f1, and I played queen e8. Which is, of course, terrible. Like, it's not like objectively bad yet, but you will quickly see that after after king f1, I immediately played knight f5. Because I was thinking, okay, the queen's covering this obviously, and yeah, I mean, just trying to trade this, right? But yeah, I mean, as you can obviously see, this is a very simple drawback. And after knight c7, I can probably immediately resign. Like maybe I can like sack my queen somehow, but this is not on this level. There's no way that I survived this. And actually, like a little bit of a funny backstory. So I'm not gonna say this has like a psychological impact, but after I played queen e8, my opponent immediately played king f1, and I immediately played knight f5 and got up. And like I was walking around and looking at the other games, because I'm one of those players I can never sit still for like more than 5 minutes. But I played this and got up so confidently that my opponent probably wasn't thinking about this. And also one of my teammates after the game told me, he said something. What did he say? He said, "Oh yeah," he said like, "Oh, I must have been missing something, because I didn't see." What was your reply planned against knight c7? And I was like, well, I thought my queen was standing on e7, so whip to that. But yeah, so this is of course a terrible blunder, and in the game, and now this is where this turns into kind of a fiesta, because my opponent goes for knight d6, which actually gives away the advantage, because now I can trade. But I have an even better idea, which also doesn't work. Which was now play queen e7. And so this doesn't work, but this also doesn't work. But the reason is kind of funny. So my thinking was, after takes, which also happened in the game, that after queen takes, king h8, that there's no threats on the dark squares, because my knight's actually covering all of these. And then my thinking was, okay, so the queen's standing here, the knight is hanging, the bishop is hanging, and I'm threatening queen h2. So I didn't see like an immediate loss here for black, in which case I was like, okay, you can just take the pawn, that's fine by me. But the problem is, after takes, white has this very annoying move, queen c7. And this is so annoying, because now he's threatening knight check here. And so I have no time to take the bishop. I can't play queen h2, because then the knight check and the queen picks up the queen. And if I just move the queen back, for example, then my knight's also hanging. So this is kind of slightly unfortunate. But that's kind of my idea. What I was thinking when I played queen up here. But okay, I took back, and he actually decided to take with the knight, which also like might look decent, because you're hitting this with the queen still. The queen has to move. But now I actually get to play. Now I actually get to play queen h2, and this is actually already better for black, apparently, because now like you have to kind of be careful how do you gonna get out your knight, because like something like rook f8 can be annoying. You still have to make sure that your bishop's not hanging, and also there's of course queen here threatening to pick up the rook, right? So my opponent played. I think this was kind of a good practical decision. He went knight here. So I have no time to pick up the rook here, because queen check, king over, and queen h7 is mate. And I also have no time to pick up this. Same reason there. So and in this position, it gets it gets like, this is where black kind of finally gets to play the game. And if you want to treat this as a little bit of of a puzzle go ahead, because black has a very, very strong move here that almost immediately wins the game. So the best move in this position, and I barely calculated this, I looked at this for like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, is rook f8. That is the best move. And the point is, after queen takes, the king just moves up, and black has no time here to pick up the knight, because now there's this knight check move, and after king moves over, you go queen check, king goes over, and now after rook takes, the knight is covering the only square where the bishop could block, and this is actually like almost checkmate on the second rank here. So in this position, white has to sack the queen, which is so after. So after takes, white would have to go f3 here, and then you have time to save your knight. But yeah, I mean, this is like, I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of tough move to find in a practical game, because you give up this check. You also have to like you also have to at least look at like all the other checks. I guess not this one, but this one, for example. There's like I know there's this check here. This is kind of it just is a little bit messy, and so the second natural move, which is probably what you were thinking of first, is actually knight f4 here, because this threatens the bishop twice. It blocks the it blocks the checkmate, and it threatens mate in one on. Let me just turn this off. It threatens mate in one on h1. After which, yeah. So you have to kind of deal with all of this. I also saw this move, by the way. But I actually wasn't too sure, because I mean g3 is forced here to cover h1, and it wasn't too sure to me how black actually wins here, because the problem is you still can't take because there's checkmate. You have no check here because the knight's covering, and if you take with on this way with the other knight, white just has time to recapture here, and so this position is still winning. This position is still winning for black, but I looked at this, and like this is kind of the position I saw, and it just wasn't clear to me like how I actually move my queen here, because my queen has no squares, they're all blocked. I can't move my knight because this is still a threat, and I was a little bit worried that white just gets his rook into the game here. So I actually discarded this after a little bit of thinking, and yeah, what I ended up playing, and I actually think, like, in a practical way, I think this is like a very good move, also because it does like a lot of psychological damage, is knight g3 check, and the point is that white can't take. If he takes like this, there's rook f8, and now the queen's pinned. And if you take with the queen, now you have time to actually pick up the rook here. Because white is no longer on a light square, and he doesn't have any checks. He doesn't have any checks around the king. And after the sequence, b2 is hanging immediately. So I kind of thought, okay, so if this happens and he can't take, he has to play king here, only move. And now after takes and queen takes, black gets to give a check here. King goes up, only move. Take here. Now he has to go back to one of these two squares, and at the end there's queen takes here, and now actually everything is covered. And I got back. I not only did I get back my pawn, I'm actually up a pawn here, and I get to play. I get my rook into the game, and white's kind of like stranded on the back rank. So this is kind of like the main variation I saw when I played this. Knight check move here, but it turns out, and this is such a computer move, that after king here, this is actually a draw, which is kind of insane to me, because you just took a piece with check, and I can tell you, like, I wasn't looking at this, my opponent wasn't looking at this, so there's kind of no way, but it makes a lot of sense if you like look at it for a little bit, because you have to like move back the knight, and now this actually falls with check. So it's still a little bit scary, because like maybe the rook gets in. But yeah, this actually apparently King E1 holds here still. It's not queen takes. It's not King E2. It's the only move that actually walks away. But yeah, I mean, my opponent saw the same thing as I did. Like we were calculating the same thing. He probably saw that queen takes was bad for him. So the only other natural move for him was King E2. And now I have this really nice finishing touch with this knight check. And now if the king takes, the knight is hanging. So if king takes here, and after check, I actually get to play knight f7 to cover everything. And now I'm just up a piece. And if knight takes, what happens in the game? I just take back, and after queen takes, it's again important to not take here, because I might run into some checks here to eventually lose. I might actually just lose the rook after check here. And let's just look at this briefly. I thought this wasn't too great. Yeah, this is actually better for white. Apparently, go check, king over, check. Okay, and then at the end you pick up the knight. Yeah. So this is what, but I didn't need to calculate this because I actually have queen I have queen f4 here, and after again white can't take the knight because now there's rook here check, and now he can't cover his queen anymore. So this would be losing. So after queen f5 he has to take, and after this I'm just up a piece. I mean it's a piece for 2 pawns, but one of these is gonna fall pretty quickly. I get my rook into the game, and yeah. So after this entire sequence, I'm actually ended up winning. I can just show you the rest of the game quickly. He played on for a little bit. But at least I got rewarded at the end with kind of a nice. Right here, I got rewarded with kind of a nice sequence after king here, just picking up this pawn. Where he played b4, and after knight c3 actually checkmates the king here, as everything is covered. So yeah, it was kind of a finishing touch, but yeah, I mean, kind of like absolute kind of fiesta with this moment, especially at the start here. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to look at this a little bit more in depth again. I'm actually not too happy. Like up to this point, if I play queen e7 here, I think this is like a decent opening result. But hey, what do you know? Oftentimes, as it is in chess, if one side blunders, the other blunders back, and this game was no exception. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this this level episode. Let me know if you want to see more like similar videos. I had so much fun playing this game that I might actually return to like classical chess a little bit more again. And if I do, might as well share it here. So yeah, let me know if you want to see some more games or other stuff you would like to see. Hope you had a fun time, and see you guys next time.